Yo, welcome back everybody. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. And this is part 3 of What If Deku Had Sunbreathing. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this, and me too. I was trying to finish this series as well, but I also had to finish my Predator series. I know a lot of you like my Predator series. So if you haven't watched that already, please go watch my Predator series. It was probably my first series that I probably completed. And other than that, guys, I'm probably going to be focusing on this series and the Titan Shifter series. So part 4 of this What If should come out probably on Friday, and Titan Shifter should come out tomorrow. And other than that, guys, let's get straight into the intro.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
So what basically happened in the last part was Izuku was training on his sun breathing, but also another technique. And this was the 3 sword style. See, this sword style is going to be kind of different. If you guys have watched God of High School, there's this technique and sword style called the Moonlight sword style. And you can use your hands as a sword. So that's one of the techniques. And Izuku has 2 hands. So he's gonna have 2 swords basically, and he's gonna have 1 sword in his mouth. That's basically how this version of the 3 sword style is gonna be working. And if some of you are wondering why I'm giving Izuku the 3 sword style, I actually asked you guys in the end of the video in the last part if you guys wanted the 3 sword style. So if you guys waited up till then, that's where you guys decided, and most of you said yes. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today. So we continue on with the story as Izuku not only was training on his sun breathing, but also a new technique that he created called the Moonlight 3 sword style. And this sword style, like I explained, is using both of his hands and 1 sword in his mouth. As we continue on with the story, as Shinobu walks in on Izuku having a sword in his mouth. Shinobu's just confused what's going on as she asks Izuku what he's doing. Izuku takes the sword out of his mouth and tells Shinobu that he's trying to learn this new technique that he's going to be creating. As Shinobu is just confused, she asks Izuku why, as Izuku says that in their last fight, Izuku realized that he was depending on his breathing too much. So he wanted to create this new sword style so he doesn't have to depend on his breathing. As Shinobu just smirks, thinking how strong that she actually is. As Izuku says that she wasn't actually that strong and it was probably just because of the poison. As Shinobu hears this, she starts yelling at Deku, telling him to be quiet. As the time skip ends, Izuku trains a lot and actually grows in strength as he's extremely strong right now. As I would say that he's probably equivalent to before time skip Zoro. That's how strong I would say Izuku really is. As we come to the final day of training, Shinobu wishes Izuku good luck as the next day Izuku goes to the UA gate, as this day is the entrance exam. As Izuku enters the gates, he sees Bakugo, as Bakugo stares back at Izuku, not saying anything with a blank expression, but Izuku could notice that Bakugo is not happy that Izuku's here. Then after that, Bakugo just scowls at Izuku and walks away. But Izuku didn't know what to do at that moment. He didn't know if he was supposed to chase after Bakugo or not. As he just continues walking, he accidentally trips as Izuku was gonna fall, but he stops himself as Uraraka was about to touch him. But Izuku just leans back forward as he stands upright as Uraraka is just surprised at Izuku's upper body strength. Then Izuku notices Uraraka right next to him and starts blushing as he's actually never talked to a girl his age. And yes, he's talked to the hero Shinobu, but it doesn't count since she's much older than Izuku. As Izuku starts blushing, looking at Uraraka, noticing that she's actually pretty cute, as she tells Izuku that he has a pretty strong upper body strength. But Izuku didn't know what to do at that moment as he just bows, yelling thank you. Uraraka was just confused at this moment and this action that Izuku just did, as she just walked away. As Izuku straightens himself up, realizing that he just blew it. Thinking to himself that he doesn't have that good of an experience talking to girls. As Izuku walks into the building, he sees that he has to take the written portion of the exam. When he takes the written portion of the exam, he realizes that he didn't get a pretty good score, as he even barely passed, as let's say that he has to get around a 70 to pass, as Izuku scraped by with a 70.1. As Izuku just wonders to himself if he got any other question wrong, he probably would have failed. As Izuku got into the orientation where President Mike is sitting down and is about to explain the robot situation. As he's listening to the robot situation, another kid is mumbling to himself, wondering what he's gonna be doing. As Ida stands up, seeing this kid mumbling, he told the kid to be quiet as Izuku looks at Ida in disapproval. As Izuku looks over to the kid who is mumbling, he sees that that kid is pretty short and has purple balls for hair. As Izuku looks at him, he sees the kid sitting in between two girls, as this kid has a nosebleed. As Izuku realizes that this kid is mumbling because he's sitting next to two girls. As Izuku thought that he was actually strategizing, since Izuku's smarts is in strategizing. Then President Mike yells at everyone, telling everyone to settle down, and that he's going to be explaining the robot situation. As he explains to everyone, telling everyone that there's a 1-pointer, 2-pointer, 3-pointer, and a 0-pointer. As everyone learns about the 0-pointer, they wonder how weak the robot's gonna be. As everyone gets ready near the gate, as they were stretching, Izuku sees the girl that he got embarrassed near, and wanted to make it right again. As he was about to walk near the girl, Ida walks up to Izuku and tells him that he probably shouldn't go disturb her. As Izuku was about to answer Ida, all of a sudden, the gates open, as President Mike yells at everyone, telling everyone that he's not going to tell everyone to go and that real heroes rush into battle. As everyone immediately blitzed except for Izuku, as Izuku's just staring at all the robots and wondering what's going on. When Izuku realized what was going on, he immediately used lightning breathing as he immediately dashed in, started to destroy many robots as he possibly can. As everyone just looked at Izuku in amazement, because they just saw Izuku at the gate not moving, and all of a sudden he's right next to them, defeating a robot. As all of them are just confused and wonders what Izuku's quirk is. As everyone's defeating robots, and so is Izuku, as Izuku's actually defeating a lot of robots. As Kacchan sees this, he gets aggravated and starts defeating more and more robots, and Izuku sees this as they have an unspoken rivalry. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a huge 0-point robot appeared. As Izuku can hear a blood-curdling scream come out of nowhere. As everyone else is running back, Izuku notices Uraraka, the same girl who he met earlier, stuck under some rubble. As Izuku knew what he had to do, he immediately rushed in and picked up the rubble and, used lightning breathing and blitzed back. As Uraraka was just confused as she was just stuck under some rubble and all of a sudden she's over here. As Izuku walked back toward the 0-point robot as he was concentrating on his breathing. As he immediately used sun breathing. As he got flames on his hands as everyone was just wondering what was going on. But before even a millisecond could even happen, Izuku immediately blitzed in and jumped up into the air as super high as he possibly can and cuts off the robot's head clean. As everyone just looks in astonishment as they just see how fast Izuku was and how powerful he was. As everyone's just wondering what Izuku's quirk is. Then Izuku lands on the ground as immediately President Mike yells that the exam is over. Everyone is just still in astonishment in how powerful Izuku is, as Bakugo thought to himself, telling himself that Izuku is a show-off. As Uraraka immediately rushes up to Izuku and starts thanking him, Izuku just doesn't say anything as he sees Uraraka so close up to him and is just blushing. As Izuku is just wondering how he's supposed to get out of this. But Izuku calms down and tells Uraraka that he apologizes for, being so weird earlier. As Uraraka says that it's alright and that she should apologize for being so weak. as Izuku says that she doesn't have to worry about that, and if she wants, he can help her train. As Uraraka looks at Izuku and tells Izuku that would be so helpful. But we skip to the perspective of Principal Nezu. He was just looking at the entrance exam as he sees Izuku blitz into the gate, as Principal Nezu just sees how fast Izuku really is. As he looks at Izuku's papers and realizes that Izuku's quirk is called breathing and head, and is just confused how Izuku is able to move so fast. As Principal Nezu reads into Izuku's papers more and realizes that Izuku has been living in the mountains for a pretty long time, and that he's been living with his grandfather. As Principal Nezu is just wondering what's going on, as he's very curious about Izuku's life. As the entrance exam continues, Principal Nezu notices Izuku having fire on his hands as he rushes into the zero pointer, as he jumps up into the air and cuts off the zero pointer's head immediately. As Principal Nezu jumps out of his chair, seeing Izuku do this. As Principal Nezu didn't know how Izuku was able to do this, but knew that he had to come to the bottom of this and see if Izuku was cheating or not. As Principal Nezu went to Izuku's house with someone special. As he knocks on Izuku's door, Izuku opens it and sees someone who's taller than Principal Nezu and has black hair that falls all the way down to his shoulders, and has a scarf on his neck. As Izuku's wondering what's going on, Principal Nezu tells Izuku that this is the person named Aizawa and that he's gonna be his teacher, and that Izuku should be able to show him the techniques that he used in the entrance exam. As Izuku was confused and tells Principal Nezu that he would be glad to show Principal Nezu some of his techniques. Then they all head outside for Izuku to show some of their techniques, as Izuku shows some regular breathing techniques and some, regular swords techniques. As Principal Nezu isn't interested in this and tells Izuku to show him the technique where he got fire on his hands. As Izuku looked at Principal Nezu, worried why Principal Nezu wants to see this the most. As Izuku concentrates and uses his certain breathing style and appears with fire on his hands. Then Principal Nezu nods at Aizawa, telling him to do it. Then Aizawa Sensei turns on his quirk as Izuku's flames dullen, as there's not that many flames on Izuku's arm as there was before, as Principal Nezu is just confused what's going on, as Aizawa's quirk is to cancel out all quirks. As Izuku realized what was going on, he immediately stopped using the breathing style as Principal Nezu walked up to Izuku and asked him what he was doing with this weird techniques. As Izuku just looks at Principal Nezu in a serious tone and tells Principal Nezu that he's unable to tell Principal Nezu and how he obtained these techniques and how he's able to use them. As Principal Nezu just sighs, telling Izuku that it's alright, and basically hands him his UA entrance letter, as they both walk away. But Izuku was just confused, as he was expecting for them to persuade him, but I guess he doesn't have to tell them right now. As Izuku opens up the letter that Principal Nezu handed him, a disc falls out and lands on the ground, as an All Might hologram appears, telling Izuku that he got first place on the entrance exam, and that he got around 100 rescue points, and around, let's say around 80 villain points. Then the All Might hologram continues, telling him that he got first place on the entrance exam, and that he welcomes him to UA. And you guys are probably wondering why Izuku was being interrogated by Principal Nezu. The real reason is Principal Nezu watching Izuku fight and basically do all of these supernatural feats with a simple quirk like his is unbelievable. So Principal Nezu just wanted to make sure that Izuku isn't cheating with some type of support gear or any other thing that would make him much more stronger. So Principal Nezu's suspicions were right, that Izuku just has some type of abilities that he can use with his quirk. But this doesn't end here, as Principal Nezu tells Aizawa when they get back to campus to keep a close eye on Izuku and make sure that Izuku gets the proper training to become an amazing hero, as Principal Nezu feels like Izuku is destined to become the #1 hero. But now we switch to the perspective of Izuku, as Izuku's just standing there realizing that he got the first score, as he's just astonished in how he was able to get the first score so easily, as he expected Bakugo to at least make second place, but it turns out Bakugo made third, as Izuku just wonders who made second. But then the next day comes by as Izuku gets ready for school and is about to leave his house as he got dressed. But then as he leaves his house and closes the door, he sees... Okay guys, this is where I'm going to be ending off the video. If you guys like this video and if you guys want to know who got second place on the entrance exam and who Izuku sees after he leaves his house, you're gonna have to like, comment, and share, and click that red button down there that says subscribe, because it'd really help if we hit 1K as early as possible. I'm not rushing you guys, but please do it because we're gonna be doing a live stream. And if you guys want to do like an anime discussion, manga, anime, I don't know guys, gaming, we can do any of that if you guys want to. And other than that, don't forget to join the Discord, and big shout out to Mystical Arthur. This man shouted me out and he's a really good YouTuber. So that's why I really want to hit 1K as quick as possible, because I might be doing a collab with him. And I want to say have a good day, but I know you guys are already having a good day because you guys are watching this What If. I'm just playing with you guys, but I hope you guys have a good day and I'll see you guys later.